when it came to the consequences of Brexit, there were a lot of ones that were very easy to predict, or at least to say, because we are leaving X, Y is going to happen. And one of the more interesting things, what a lot of people were saying was, we also don't know what companies and how they are going to react into a lot of these ways, because a lot of companies will do. And this is, by the way, a lot of the reasons why regulations exist, is that companies will do everything they can to try and cheat the system to make things cheaper. I mean, there is a full story about, the bendy bananas. The whole story behind that is in itself pretty crazy. God, I'm trying to remember what the article is called now. Oh, I read it a couple of years. I'll have to try and hunt it down and do it on the channel, because it's a bizarre yet fascinating story as to why that whole law, or the whole bendy bananas rule exists. But it was about a company trying to say, "Oh no, these are bananas." It's crazy, but this is what happens in this type of big international trade. Companies will try anything to get away with some of these, with, shall we say, making stuff cheaper or not having to pay certain tariffs. And in this case, we are seeing Brownies. Brownies are now going vegan, because if they go vegan, they can avoid the Brexit checks. And because they are avoiding the Brexit checks, they are making bank. So guess what? Looks like, in a bizarre twist, we're now going to be seeing a lot, potentially, of vegan brownies on the shelves, potentially even masquerading as non-vegan brownies, but probably, or at least looking like, shall we say, non-vegan brownies, but maybe with a little, green spot on the back, as they sometimes like to get away with. So, yeah, let's go diving into this, because, like I say, this is one of those bizarre, unintended stories that we sort of see when we have a look at these. So, let's go over to. Before we do that, though, before we do go over, please do remember to the like, share, and subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And of course, down below there are links to my Patreon page and the one-off donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee, and of course the other links, that YouTube thank you button and the Pony Club as well. So remember to ring the bell as well to get notifications when we drop a new video or when we go live as well. So over we go today to the grocer to cover this, of the title of Cake and Brownies Go Vegan to Dodge Brexit Checks. A UK exporter of brownies and cakes has seen Brexit-related costs drop significantly after replacing the animal-derived ingredients with vegan alternatives. The Leeds-based manufacturer Pecan Deluxe Candy has managed to bypass the burdensome border checks by making some of its best-selling products plant-based. The new products do not require the export health certificate, or even the veterinary inspection that composite food products containing butter or eggs do. This allows the company to reduce the costs and the additional paperwork that came with exporting such goods. The company has said it has seen growing interest from clients in its new brownie, cake, cookie, and cookie dough pieces, which are all now available without the, quote, composite food classification that can bring additional hassle from European customers purchasing from UK suppliers. The vast majority of Pecan Deluxe clients were from the EU markets before Brexit, and MD Graham Kingston told the grocer, quote, Brexit has had a huge impact on our business, Mr. Kingston said. Before the UK's exit from the EU and single market, 84% of business sales came from European customers. That figure is now around 55. Once again, every single time we cover one of these stories, you see it. We're doing fantastic trade with Europe. 84% of our business sales were from European customers. It's now 55. That's That's about a 30% drop in sales, which, bear in mind, does keep with the other values and other percentages that we have been seeing dropping of this. We have seen it whenever we've covered these other businesses. It has always been around a 20 to 30% drop in sales. And that is a big impact, a big impact. And I wouldn't be surprised that because they've made this change, that they are at that 55% number. And I would be very well. I don't know if they would ever openly admit if they hadn't changed to these, the plant based products. Would that even be at 55%? Would it even be lower than that if they had remained? It's possible. I'm not gonna. I'm it's possible, but that's again me speculating. But it's again based on what we have seen from other British businesses that have seen these Brexit problems. And I also want to point out that again, during the referendum, we had people like Daniel Hannan, Nigel Farage, all these other Brexiteers going around saying, oh, look, it'll be fine because in reality, only about, half or so about our trade is with the EU. So it'll be fine. We'll replace it with trade from the rest of the world. But as we always said, when you actually do dig into these numbers, you see industries with a lot of trade with the EU. I mean, just this company alone, pre-Brexit, 84% of its business sales came from European customers. That's more than half, as we always said, because when you dig into the numbers, there's far bigger stories to tell. And because the Brexiteers, again, lied when it came to this, they took a big picture view rather than a sort of the macroeconomic view into sort of certain industries or even individual businesses, what they were up to. But again, that's what suited their needs at the time. And of course, we are now seeing more businesses actually come out and say that. So that has been a good in this direction. But anyway, we'll continue with this. So back to it. So since introducing these revamped formulas, which include replacing buttermilk with vegetable oils and entirely removing eggs from certain products in October of last year, Pekin Deluxe has seen a substantial drop in shipping, vet, and paperwork costs. And I bet that is saving them a lot of money. I bet it is saving them a ton of money. It has also experienced less consignment holdups and returns at the French border, whilst expanding its pool of heritage partners. Has the move created a quote less border hassle, resulting in more interest from shipping companies. The cost of transporting the load of the new non-composite products has also decreased by as much as 70% comparatively with cost per load of the traditionally manufactured composite products. So that is saving them a lot of money. That is saving them a lot of money because we've seen how much this paperwork actually does cost money. So additionally, Pekin Deluxe has also set growing interest from EU-based partners looking to slash import costs. So again, they're looking at investing in the EU. Again, this isn't while this is sort of good for the business, it's not good for, British workers eventually, because those buildings, those jobs are going to be in Europe, not in the UK, or at least in this case, because it's a Leeds-based company in Leeds. So the MD said that it's a win-win situation because some of those ingredients like butter and dairy have massively increased price since last year. So importers are also looking to lower their costs by buying from reformed products, Kingston said. The company has been keen to continue finding solutions to Brexit and Brexit-related trading barriers as it cannot ignore what is our main marketplace, he added. Yes, exactly. Thank you. Thank you for bringing that up. That is exactly true. You cannot ignore what is the UK's main marketplace. It is the EU. That ain't going to change anytime soon. Pekin's Deluxe top importing countries are Germany, the Netherlands, France, and Spain, and it expects sales in the EU to grow again this year off the back of changes to its products. Are we surprised by this? Absolutely not, because this is what we've been hearing ever since 2016, and even more so since 2020, since we've actually seen the proper effects of Brexit kick in with this, oven ready trade deal that Boris Johnson did. Um, really hasn't solved too much of these problems. If anything, it's created more problems, and it's caused a lot of problems for businesses. Like I say, you've had there for this company, the Brownie company, a 30% drop in trade. And bear in mind, this matches with other companies that we've seen and covered on this channel. We've had, it has been between a 20 and 30% drop. And in some cases, it's been even more extreme than that. Certainly the case, if you remember when we covered the story of the old milk, the old dairy brewery. So that was certainly one case where they pretty much lost all their international certainly all their European trade overnight and lost thousands and thousands of pounds because of it. Um, it's what we warned about. It's what we warned would happen. And remember, for every company like this that speaks out, that says, hey, this is how much we've lost, there are hundreds of other companies, not probably if you just include Leeds, that have lost, you know, an equal amount, maybe even more, but aren't very open about it. Because again, it's sort of embarrassing when you come out and say, "Well, we've lost, X amount of trade with Europe because of Brexit." And to be honest, I wish these companies would be more brave about it and be willing to speak up to the damage and loss of business they have caused. Because if they lose that business, then that is money that they can put into the business to expand it, to grow it, etc. And what have we seen with some of these companies? They've gone, well, the UK is no longer a viable place to grow our business. So of course they've gone over to Europe, and we've seen a big jobs from finance, from manufacturing, food in particular has been a big area, have gone over to places like France, the Netherlands, Belgium, because it's in the EU and it's easier. They get to avoid then the whole Brexit checks, but then of course that's jobs that could have been done here, that could have been put here, but because of Brexit, not anymore. So yeah, yet another company, at least being honest with people about how much they've actually lost from this. And I think this is something that should be brought up to Brexiteers like Nigel Farage and etc. etc. How can you justify this business with your again fantastic deal losing that amount of trade? And I think this is something that should be sort of, I think, more focused on. And certainly businesses, I've said, need to really start speaking out about the loss of this. Again, the quote of the CEO got it in one, that yes, we cannot just ignore our main market, and that is the EU. That ain't going anywhere. That's not changing. Even with the international global trade, that's dropped 18%, whereas we have seen international trade take off. We haven't been involved in that takeoff. Again, Brexit. So, so as always, guys, like I say, thank you very much for watching. Please do remember to press the like, share, and subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And of course, down below there are links to my Patreon page, my motivation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee, the YouTube thank you button, and of course the Pony Club as well. So as always, guys, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you all next time.